So it's been a minute since I posted something, and then I realized girl has been AWOL. Like she starts a subject and then she runs away. So uncouth of me. My apologies. But anyway, we're back and we are touching on the subject of finance, financial management, and how we can make like a ching chings work for us, right? So I'm a religious girl, and everything I do, I base it on the Word of God, His principles, His values, and everything religious. So I will encourage you all to engage in a small prayer before, during, or after every subject that we're going to discuss. And we ask that the wisdom of God sits upon us so that we know how to order our lives. Now, the Word of God says that His people perish because they lack wisdom. It also says we do not have because we don't know how to ask. And when we ask in vain. But then James crowns it all nicely for us, and he says that if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, he who gives generously. So I know there's some who are going to say, but I got this thing figured out. There are those who are going to be humble enough and say, I don't know anything and I'm here to learn. But the great man Solomon says, I have lived to see all things good and bad. And the one thing I would say is that in the things that were constant and in the things that were changing, God remained above it all. So for even those who have it all figured out, know what they're doing, I still encourage you to pray to God, for He grants wisdom to understand and to apply the things that we know so that they give the results that we are in search of. Okay, that said, we will touch on the subject of money. What is money? How do you get money? And how do you apply your money so that it generates more money? Yes, we are about building that pocket so that it gives you more life. And we'll start by the definition. Money is the access that you have to getting anything that you want. So there is like a minute definition of money, which is a form of exchange of goods. But when we move it from that to the form of exchange, it includes assets and services that you can use to generate money. And allowing it to be that broad will allow us to touch on more than just fiat form of money, the one that you get when you withdraw at a bank and you use to pay for a service. It also touches on your mind, your skills, where you are placing yourself, because this is where money is generated. How well your mind can think, what your mind can produce, and the value you can attach to the things that your mind can create, and how it generates money for you. Right. So, just because resources can be generated does not mean that they need to be exhausted. Sounds very stupid, but that is the very truest explanation that there is to financial management. Just because you can generate $1 5 minutes from now does not mean that you need to use up the dollar that you have now. Any sound business system that you will probably encounter will tell you just because we generated $10,000 in profits did not mean that we were supposed to use it all up either in asset acquisition or in salary payments. We actually had to save, one, for rainy days, two, for the purposes of generating an additional income stream. So, yes, just because your mind can generate a new idea does not mean that when you get paid for this one that you just passed out, you need to use up every single cent that you got from this payment. Right. So financial management then is the allocation of the resources that you have now in order for one to be able to access the life that you want now, two, to create a savings pocket, and three, to generate an additional income stream. Right. We have the definitions in place, and I hope this takes your mind on an explorative journey to start thinking, okay, so what assets do I have? How can I employ them? How have I been using my money? We will touch on the different ways in which that we can allocate our finances on our next video. And you can see how we can improve how what we were doing right and what we can add on in order for us to have a better financial life. I wish you all a beautiful day. So, there is a hidden question that's existent in my head and might not be existent in some of you. And this is so, if I can generate money everywhere and anyhow, why does it become important for me to manage what I receive, right? So exhaustion of resources does not ability to generate resources does not warrant exhaustion of resources, right? So just because you can create money in the next 5 minutes that you're going to breathe does not mean the money that you have now should be used in totality. Right. So these are some of the principles that we learn in finance. And when we apply them, we actually realize that we can generate our income beyond what we are currently holding in our hands. Right. So financial management is the proper use or the allocation of money that we receive in order for us to be able to access life, to create more avenues of generation of money